Hello, friend. Welcome to Grandpa's Horror Stories. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment your own stories. Wade through stories that bewitch and bewilder. Kudos to our Reddit authors. Credits found below. I bought my first house and found this weird notebook in the bedroom. The things the previous owner, quote, were perfect for this sub. The realtor said the house has been empty since 2006. A few weeks ago I bought my first house. Well, it's more of a cabin than a house, but I'm finally living on my own away from the city in a quiet area by a national park. The closest neighbor is about a quarter mile from me, and I'm the last house on the road before it becomes a hiking trail leading to the park another quarter mile in the other direction. Behind my house is a little creek that separates my backyard from the park naturally. So aside from the occasional private property signs, it's almost like I'm living in the park, which I enjoy because I love that park, but it means I need to keep my dog either on a leash or inside most of the time so he doesn't run off. So onto the notebook. It's nothing fancy or particularly old looking, just a beat up wide ruled store brand you'd get a pack of 5 for a few dollars. I only know it's pretty old cause of how beat up it is, and the first entry is from 2006. I found it hidden under a loose floorboard in the bedroom. I've typed out a few of the entries cause I guess the paper so old you can't really make out the writing in any photo I took. I say guess because it looked clear and legible on my phone in the camera app, but every pic comes out of focus and too blurry to read. Anyway, here are the highlights, starting with the first entry, then jumping to when things get weird. May 29th, 2006. I finally have my first house. They say that the satellite reception is spotty at best, and the phone company can't get the internet hookup to work right, but I'm not interested in any of that anyway. I'm here to be alone with my books and my kitties MR and Mrs. Smith. We're about to snuggle up with a book by the fire for our first night, June 24th, 2006. Last night was kinda weird. I was cuddling with Mrs. Smith on the sofa when I heard the little Mer calling for me from the kitchen. But when I got up, he came running from the bedroom, which is the other side of the house from the kitchen. So I went to the kitchen to see what the sound was I heard and didn't find anything. But the kitchen door was cracked open, which I could have sworn I had closed and locked when I brought in groceries. No one could have gotten to the rest of the house without me noticing. It's just kitchen, living room, then bedroom, but I grabbed the largest knife in the kitchen and looked around the house to make sure I didn't sleep too well. Last night, June 28th, 2006, I heard another strange noise last night. This time it was different. Mr. and Mrs. Smith and I were sitting on the sofa in front of the fire with a book. The only sounds were the crackling of the fire and hooting of an owl outside. Then I heard what I thought was two feral cats fighting outside, but the sounds they were making got louder and louder and deeper, and it started to not sound like little house cats anymore. They started to sound like lions or tigers or something. Then it got silent. I don't mean the cats stopped fighting outside. I mean the owl stopped hooting, the fire stopped crackling. All I could hear were my own thoughts. In my confusion, I bumped a glass off my end table and it shattered on the wood floor without a sound. I thought I had gone deaf until just as suddenly as the silence came, it went almost all at once. It was like a dozen owls all hooted at once. The fire almost sounded like the wood was exploding in the hearth, and I heard the glass shatter almost a full minute after I had dropped it. August 10th, 2006. It has been over a month since that night everything went silent, and nothing strange has happened since. But Smith ran out the back door last night, and I haven't seen him all day. The missus seems distraught over it and has been meowing at the back door almost non-stop since, but every time I check for him there's nothing there. She did get quiet for a moment while I was reading my book, but then she let out a meow that sounded like firevat once before running into the bedroom. August 11th, 2006. Mr. Smith came home this morning, but he's missing all the hair from his tail. He doesn't seem injured, but I took him to the vet just to be safe. They say they want to hold him overnight and run some tests. August 13th, 2006. Overnight turned into a night, a day, and then another night, but the man of the house is home. The vet says that the reason Mr. Smith didn't have any hair on his tail was he had eaten it, and apparently is continuing to try and eat the rest of his tail. I'm not sure what happened to my little man on his trip outside, but the vet says it's anxiety, and he should be better after time and medication. August 15th, 2006. I was standing in the backyard listening to the creek, enjoying my coffee and nature when it happened again. All the sound stopped. No birds, no creek, nothing. And the whole time the sound was gone, I felt like I was being watched. I think I saw a building I never noticed out in the tree line just before the sound came back, but I may have just been seeing things. September 6, 2006. Mrs. Smith is a widow. I'm so heartbroken. I found my baby boy on the kitchen porch with his tail in his mouth. He chocked on his own tail. I don't even know how he got out. The door was closed and locked, and he was inside when I went to bed. When I was burying him, the silence came back, and I for sure saw the building this time. It was one story, but had a staircase on the side I could see leading to the roof. It looked in disrepair, and I swear it was closer than it was last time, and it came with the feeling of being watched again. But it disappeared again before I could finish burying Mr. Smith and investigate, and the sound came back as soon as it vanished as well. I called the Rangers and asked about it, but they hung up on me saying they were tired of those prank calls. September 10th, 2006. I've noticed the park rangers have been coming by the area more often. It started the day after I made the call about the strange disappearing building. They won't say anything about it when I ask and seem to be avoiding me. When I go out, is something going on? September 14th, 2006. I guess the park rangers found what they were looking for. They haven't been by in a few days. I started hearing those feral cats fighting outside again, though. They sound like they're right outside my window, but I never see anything out there. September 15th, 2006. Holy shit, what the shit? The silence came back and I saw the building I don't know materialize out of nowhere. Maybe the grief of losing Smith combined with living alone is getting to me. After my last few experiences with the park rangers, I don't think I'll be calling them this time though. September 16th, 2006. I watched as the building appeared in a different spot again, but this time just on the other side of the creek, like maybe 102 feet off my property. I could see it from my kitchen window. When I was making my morning coffee, I noticed it's not a building, just a wall with that single fire escape style staircase on the side. But the building appearing isn't the most unsettling thing. Something this was underlined multiple times came down the stairs. I couldn't get a good look at it or where it came from, but it came down the stairs. The thing looked, I don't know how to describe it, blurry, like I was looking at it through a camera that was out of focus. It was almost like a bear, but it walked on two legs going down the stairs before getting on all fours and running into the forest. The stairs left shortly after it again, underlined multiple times, ran off, and the sound returned. I also haven't seen Mrs. Smith since yesterday and am worried. September 18th, 2006. Mrs. Smith's collar was on the kitchen porch this morning. It was sitting like someone had placed it there with the tag up facing the door. And last night, even though it was raining and I could see the lightning, I didn't hear any thunder. Not until over an hour after the storm started did I even hear the rain. Then it all came at once, so loud it shook the house, and I could swear I heard someone screaming mixed with the thunder and rain. That was the last entry. My dog started barking from the kitchen about halfway through typing this, so I'm gonna see what that was about. Though he just stopped. In fact, I think the rain outside stopped too, 'cause I don't hear anything.